I've a couple more things before I want to get you onto your podcast and what's coming up there and who you've spoken to. But I want to get your take on the old YouTube boxing, and in particular, Mr. Jake Paul calling out Mr. McGregor. I mean, come on, mate. If ever there was, levels to this game, just stay away. I think he's fighting Dylan Dennis, if I'm correct on that one. Oh no, he's not. Yeah. He's fighting Ben Askren, isn't he? Ben Askren.
Ben Askren, from the UFC, yeah.
And Snoop Dogg's promoting it as well. I mean, they're all getting in on the act.
And they're quite right too, because there's money there. So where there's money, like, the people are going to want to be involved. And what we saw from the first few fights, KSI versus Logan Paul, no, they weren't the true first fights, but they were the ones that really elevated it to the next level. What we saw there was we had some proper brilliant character arcs. So whether or not you like YouTube or not, KSI is like this beacon of light in the YouTube UK community, and Logan Paul was this guy that had been under just so much controversy with the thing in the Japanese forest that we all know about, and you that was like his moment to kind of like overcome that and become this kind of man that we see today. So boxing, no matter what level of boxing we're talking about, it needs a story. It needs people to get invested in that, in the fight itself. It's just as important what happens on the build up than what happens on the night, I guess. And you had all of that in that first fight, and it was great drama. Not the best skill quality, if you know what I mean. Not the best level, but it was great drama, and I think they did themselves proud. What you're getting now with Jake Paul, he's somebody that wants a slice of that pie. He wants to be the highest paid boxer or whatever his claim. He claimed, because he does claim a lot of shit, doesn't he, Jake? So what we're getting now is not so much a drama, not so much anything that we're really buying into. I think we're just seeing the public just want him to get one big fight. I don't know about, I can't speak for the public, but I'm speaking about me. I want him to get one big fight so he can get his paycheck, he can get his money, do whatever. But I want him to get humbled, and I want him to get knocked out early doors, just so we don't have to see this guy skipping on Instagram telling us how he's going to be the next Floyd Mayweather or whatever. You're Jake Paul. Stay in your lane, mate. It's boring. It's boring. Are you as invested in a Jake Paul fight as you were the KSI Logan one?
Not at all. I'm a huge boxing fan. I've been my entire life, and I was glad to see new eyes brought to the sport. And we know that Eddie Hearn can smell a pound note better than anybody else, and he jumped on there. He recognized the value of it, and I was invested in both the JJ and the Logan Paul fight, both of them. And I think firstly JJ was robbed in the first one. He won convincingly in the second one, but then to find out that Logan Paul is fighting Floyd Mayweather and poor old KSI sitting there without that payday, I'm absolutely baffled by that one as well. I mean, whoever's representing the Paul brothers, I mean, they're earning their money. They're doing well. They're getting them big paydays for, that should have been KSI's fight, surely. If he wanted, I don't know if he did or not, but
I'd be surprised if KSI wanted to fight Jake Paul now, because Jake Paul needs it far more than JJ needs it. And I don't know what you think, Craig. You said you're a big boxing fan, so you're more educated and more qualified to give your opinion on this than I am. But Jake Paul looks quite good, doesn't he?
I'll tell you what, I'll backtrack a little bit. Let me talk about Logan Paul first and KSI. Logan Paul, I think that fight was a cruiserweight, if my memory serves me correct, around 14 and a half stone. JJ to me looks like he probably walks around at 10 and a half, 11 stone normally. If he's fit, maybe 11 and a half stone. Logan Paul was afraid to let his hands go for the sheer size difference between the two of them. You were at the fight. You would have seen the second fight, and you would have seen the sheer physicality that Logan brought into the ring. I thought, God, if he connects here, JJ's in trouble. But JJ showed absolute heart and just got on with it. Jake Paul, to me, he looks like a more natural boxer than his brother. I will say that, yes. But to be calling it, like, I mean, he's fought an NBA fighter and a YouTuber. I mean, or an NBA player and a YouTuber. He hasn't fought a boxer yet. So Ben Askren will be interested. I will. You know what? As much as I'm sitting here slating it, I probably will watch it because, as you've said, we're all hoping he gets sparked out.
Yeah, yeah, no, you are right. You are right. I guess it's a bit. I mean, I love to hate it, and as much as I say, to be fair, I'm not as invested, of course, as the previous fights, but I will watch it, and ultimately, I'm probably part of the problem there, if you consider it to be a problem. I'm not sure, but yeah, from what I've seen from Jake, he does seem decent. I was lucky enough to be at the Anderson Gibb Jake Paul fight as well, in January of last year, in which Jake kind of just dispatched him early doors. But like you said, he hasn't really fought anyone with pedigree yet. Not that KSI and Logan weren't necessarily the best of them back then, but yeah, I know what you mean, mate. I know what you mean. Do you think if Jake gets humbled by Ben? Well, first of all, how about this, Craig? How about this? What do you think the outcome will be of that fight?
Oh, I think Ben Askren will stop him. I'm
You
almost
do, yeah?
convinced of it. I'm almost convinced of it. I mean, yes, your boxing skills from UFC don't necessarily translate over. I think that a big difference here is the gloves. What ounce gloves we're talking about, because these UFC guys, you know, they used to fight with basically mitts on, and everyone will remember Ben Askren obviously for the Masvidal knee that absolutely just knocked him out. But I mean, he's fought his entire life, and he's not going to take a step backwards. And I will, if Jake Paul comes out of this with a W, credit where it's due. But as soon as he steps in there with a real boxer, even a mid-level boxer, I think he'll be put to sleep. I'll tell you what, though, what would happen? I would have gotten the kiss from Greg Paul. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, mate. It would have happened.
Well, that's debatable. That's yet to be seen.
I get the kiss. Someday, me and you will double team him. Someday we'll get the kiss. He did not look a happy man. I mean, I was getting a lot of Louis CK vibes off him as well. I have to say, he looked a bit Louis CK-ish. Yeah, I was thinking of him. Got Louis CK that is there, because I was only getting into it around that point, Jack. I'm not going to lie to you. I was only getting into this whole YouTuber thing, and I was following your video. Was brilliant, by the way, of the whole trip over and getting the flyers printed up and then handing them out. It was absolutely quality, and then a music video at the end. I mean, that had me, mate. I'm not going to lie. I was hoping there was a happy ending and not in, you know, the other happy ending sense of the word, but I was hoping that we were going to get that magical moment. And was it as tense when you were in front of him as it seemed to be?
Yeah, well, yeah, this is the thing. So all the YouTubers were up on the balcony, as you see in the video, and first of all, I spoke to Pam, which is Jake and Logan's mum, and she was absolutely lovely. Eddie Hearn introduced me. He was like, Pam's there, go speak to her. So I was a bit nervous because I was like, well, I've got to go up to this woman. She's never met me before. I've got to hand her a flyer that I've photoshopped me and her ex-husband on and say, can I kiss your ex-husband? And she was like, yeah, he'll totally get it. I was thinking, I'm not sure. I'm not sure he will. So when I've seen him at the end, I think it was Mini Mint that come up to me and was like, Greg Paul's here, Greg Paul's here. So it's like all these whispers. And then I've seen him at the end, and I thought, like, I was intimidated. Like, I was a little bit nervous, I can't lie. But that was like the pinnacle of the video. I was like, I need to speak to this guy. And I said this to someone else the other day. Can't remember who, but it was a lot easier for me to do because at school I was a bit of a class clown. You can probably... I was a bit of a prick, really, right? But because I knew I was doing this in kind of like in the name of comedy, like let's not forget, Greg Paul has come under, like, he's done a lot of weird stuff. I'm not just going up to a man and just asking to kiss him. He's done a lot of weird stuff that you can quite rightly kind of question. So going back to the whole school class clown thing, all the YouTubers are watching. On one hand, it's like, I can't bottle this because they're watching me. I'm this fucking loudmouth guy online, so I can't bottle it now. And also, I kind of resigned to the fact that he probably could hit me. And I was thinking more of the content than a black eye. I would have 100% taken a black eye, taken a punch to the jaw like that. Imagine that for the thumbnail. I was almost kind of wishing he had, but instead he was a little bit weird about it, which kind of added to the narrative. So it worked out perfectly for me. But here's the thing, right? So I took my friend Alfie Inja and Fiona, and they were both filming. And Fiona, bless her heart, she was really sort of under the weather at this point, and she wasn't feeling well. And Greg Paul's turned to both of them and gone, put those cameras down, put those cameras down. And Alfie just put the camera down like that, and Fiona just kept filming. So I ended up getting the content from Fiona. So I was giving Alfie stick all the way home that he was the one that bottled it when Fiona didn't. So fair play, Fiona.
Well, mate, look, I've learned many times in life that my missus is far stronger than I am, far more has far more bottle than I'll ever have. So
yeah, exactly,
you know, but in fairness to my missus, she does know when she's got one card left in Uno that she needs to show Uno. So there are levels.
You've done your research here, Craig. You've done more research for this than I have when I do happy hour, mate.